Dun, dun, dun.
This is the Justuff League.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Justuff League. And just as everybody saw those facial expressions, this is the second recording session, we'll say, of visual and audio podcasting. It's pretty crazy.
I am a virgin at this, so if I'm shy or anything, just deal with it. Don't
worry, Kev. We'll help you navigate through the first time. We'll show you the way.
Yeah, last time Kevin had some short technical difficulties, but we are back.
In the woods.
I live. Oh man! So it is good to be back.
Yeah.
What are we doing today?
Where the hell were you? I seen you all day.
Yeah, this is true, actually. Yeah, I did see you all day. That's right. Yeah. No, so today I guess we're talking about my auction coming up, right? Is that the hot news on the block?
March 11th. What kind of auction you doing this time?
Yeah, what are you doing?
No, well, Kevin's like, what am I doing?
What are you doing?
Not that he hasn't seen the material at work for the past month and a half.
Right.
No, but it's
for how much stuff you guys have in that auction house, he has no idea what's going to each auction until it happens, right?
Yeah. So it is my regular, I'll say, back to normal billing of a quote-unquote comic TCG and toy auction, as the past, basically 5 months of auctions have been all single owner or specialty curated catalog sales. But this is actually probably the most diverse auction that has ever been put out for my department, which is pretty interesting. I mean, there's 372 lots, and the auction is pretty much divided perfectly into thirds, where there's 125 lots of comics, there's 126 lots of trading cards, and there's 121 lots of toys. So that's pretty close for without even any planning. Like, what are the odds you can get perfect thirds like that, or near perfect thirds?
I mean,
totally amazing.
Okay, so if you haven't had a mix like this, if you haven't had an auction of other people's stuff in so long, don't you have a huge backlog to work through?
No, so this was the huge backlog. This was basically like, what can I possibly douche off my shelves that needs to be sold? For both actually, believe it or not, it's like a 2-day auction where it's 2 separate auctions, but like on the Friday night before March 10th, there's an in-person only bidding that's heavily focused on trading cards with some comic books and toys mixed in there. But then March 11th on the Saturday morning is going to be the higher-end sale that's also online as well as bidding in person. And by the way, James, producer Kyle is now like a hardcore veteran when it comes to online bidding.
Oh, no, you want to call it hardcore veteran?
Yeah, hardcore veteran. You're there.
Which means he doesn't fall asleep doing it anymore.
No, he's into it.
We did a couple in the last week. For me, it's all auditory stuff. Like, my podcast skills play into auctioning very well because it's just about listening to where you are at all times and making sure that number is right. That's how I get through it.
That's
anyway.
very good.
Dude, that's actually that's challenging for most people to do.
Do you feel like you're more in the groove with it?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And it's a lot easier for me to do.
Show it, but okay, you'll get there.
Come on, man. I'm actually really careful. I'm really careful.
I think producer Kyle has risen as a top tier internet bidder. I mean, you're definitely bringing the game.
I mean, I'm just trying to keep up, man. Just trying to keep up. Don't want to be a detriment to the team.
So, James, this auction, though, coming up, I got to say, it was like a little is disheartening, the term, or like a little sad, because it's the first. Disheartening. That's it. Because it's the first auction in a long time. I scroll through, I don't see anything that's like 10 to 15,000, 20, 30,000. It's like the highest estimate is $2 to $3 grand, and the crazy part is all the stuff that I was super reluctant at the end, I don't want to describe Lionel trains or Steelcraft like construction toys and freaking German Halloween lanterns. That's all the shit that has all the bids on it. You
know
go
why?
sort by most bids. It's all the trains, the Halloween crap, the erector sets. It's like, oh my god,
Dude, it's because for the last 2 years, all anybody has been focusing on has been trading cards and comics. I mean, I did a quick glance through the auction. You got a lot of graded material in there, a heck of a lot. And that's been the bread and butter of auction houses for the last couple years. But you've also got some pretty good Marks toys in there. Those nice tin toys.
Yeah, there is a G-Man pursuit car, which is really cool. I mean, that's a classic
It's a really nice
1930s. Yeah, it is. It's in beautiful
That
shape.
thing's nice.
And
Whoa. That German Halloween Black Cat candy container is freaking awesome.
We didn't
There
see
we
that.
go.
There you go.
No.
you know, and James going to the official bidlive.bruneauandco.com is amazing.
It's a great
It's all
plug.
about branding, baby.
Look at the head on that thing, huh?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty wild. Is it a spring head style one?
Yeah, so it's a spring head
there we
and
go.
a spring tail, and when you look at the bottom of it, it is specifically marked with "Made in a U.S. Zone, West Germany."
Oh, nice.
So I mean,
Oh, there we go.
or made in U.S. Zone Germany. There we go. Which that mark is basically indicative. It's only part of like a 7 or 8 year period, so that's why I put circa 1945 because but it wouldn't be marked that once you get into the mid 1950s.
That is fantastic. So it says from the original child toy collection of Jake Pillar.
Oh,
Any
Jack Pillar, yeah.
Jack Pillar.
So
Was he a pillar of the community?
hey, all these toys that you see, James, if you actually go to the catalog, if you go back and you just scroll through this section, these are all toys that he had himself as a kid. So, like, when you look at the erector sets and you look at the Dopke model toys, like all the pressed steel, he has it down like he's like, I received this Christmas Day, 1941, and it was purchased at the Chaitonese hardware store in Norwich, Connecticut. I mean, this kid, I say this kid, he's like an 80-something-year-old man now, but he took care of his toys so perfectly. I mean, even like right there, when you look at that Brenner Big Derek, I mean, just look at the condition of that toy. It is beautiful.
Bring that girl up. That is crazy. I mean, it's like reminds me a lot of you, Travis. You know, we get toys, you never actually play with them.
So Jack and I actually connected a lot on this note, and he has been like such a organized collector where Kevin and I go to his house and we have to pick everything up. It is literally every box is marked. Like he would use the sticker that you put as like a return address on an envelope with where it'd be like Jack Pillar, Mr. Connecticut, and it has like a little symbol of a bird. He'd write everything down, and it's just so basically all those early toys that you see in the beginning are all from his collection. The Daisy BB gun is the last one. But even like those restored, there you go. Yeah, look at that Daisy BB gun. I've never even seen.
That's a nice box.
But look at the condition inside. It's ridiculous. And this particular gun,
that's a good one.
This pump shotgun or pump gun with the scope was only manufactured for 2 or 3 years. I have it specifically noted in the catalog description. But it's, of all the potential Daisy BB guns this guy could have, he has one of the most desirable ones with all the little, like the target, the scope, the buckshots. I mean, it's just, it's
What are those blue and red dealies? The upper left-hand corner? Right here?
I don't know what it is.
They look like pieces of corrugated cardboard, but they're in color?
Yeah, I wonder what that is.
I don't know.
Clean it out or something? I don't know. I doubt it.
I don't know.
In that
Could you please send me a better photo of that?
I know the auction is already started, but
People
could you
ask
get me
at
some
auction.
better pictures?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I mean, Jack stuff, we typically don't have early toys really in our sale, but it was kind of cool. We had Jack's collection, plus we also got out of a Pennsylvania load that marks G-Man car, some Steelcraft, large trucks, but then also like a really great collection of 1960s California gas-powered tether cards. It's like if you look at even that one that's still in the original box, I mean, that's from, the early 1960s, and it's brand new, never assembled, never ran.
I'm going to plead ignorance on this one. So I've seen that this has a little 1 inch little engines, little gas engines.
All yes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, they're teeny little.
The shape of that,
dude. How's the rubber on it?
It's it's perfect. It's never been ran.
Everything's perfect. It's never been out of the box other than to look at, to what you're doing right now. It's never been run.
So these crazy little engines, you see them on airplanes and stuff like that. But these were used on race cars, and I've seen a couple different versions of them where they're like the Hot Wheels track. It's like that plastic track with the high sides. Is that what these run on, or is there something else?
No, this you would use a tether. You would actually pull it to guide it.
So what happens is they race them around poles. So you stick a pole and you round track race them by putting a tether string on them. And they just go around in a circle with the motors winding out like mad. And you can have it a 50-foot circle in your yard, and the cars just race against one another.
Wow.
On the same length tether. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. So it's basically a tetherball, but they don't get tangled.
Right. They just bang and go and whatever.
And, the interesting part, they all came out of California. It was like the big race where it's like this design got out. You had 3 companies all producing them within the same time, within the same state. I mean, you had Rodsies, you had Thimbledrome, but the biggest name is really the Olson and Rice. That's really I'd say the name brand when it comes to the tether gas cars that people really like. But and
there's that G-Man Pursuit car. That looks
cool.
Fresh.
I noticed though. Did you see the other car in the auction? It's nearly identical to the G-Man car, but not painted up like the G-Man car.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's actually slightly earlier. That's a Hodges, Hoges pressed steel, and it's been restored. Actually,
did you notice the body style though is nearly identical to it, even the front grille?
Hey, James, when do you ever see me list Stifes in an online auction?
Every chance you get.
Yeah, I guess every chance. No, typically I go, let's just demote those to the Friday night sale. But this was such a big group. It's man, you got to put it online.
Got some good ones too.
Yeah, believe it or not, that Teddy Roosevelt collector's edition Rough Rider thing is one of the best pieces. Even though there's older Stifes in there from the late 50s and the early 60s.
Paddington? No. Oh, that's the pilot. Got it. Okay.
I just put them as huge groups. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But the best, and then, hey, we got some Disney cell action.
Nice.
These 5 Disneyland cells are all from the original owner who bought them at the Art Corner in Disneyland in California.
Nice.
They all have the original.
They reframed them.
I know. But I got to say, they are getting some pretty decent traction.
Why, are the original frames worth money or something? Or
more interest because it's untouched. Because you can, what ends up happening is, you get people who will take the stickers off the back or take the back and include them with other ones. But yeah, because everyone wants ones from the Art Corner or the Cavassier ones, and the only sign of it is this little sticker. So what they'll do if their cell is damaged, they'll swap this out for one that's undamaged. It just adds a little bit of interest and a little bit of extra money. The frame is the only way to get that 100%. But people still fake it anyway.
These are definitely entry level, as they all have the printed background. But one of the funniest things, James, that one took me forever to identify. To figure out what. Me. I say
karaoke only shows up in 5 different things.
Yeah, so I forget. It's from a Walt Disney Presents particular episode. Yep. I have it in there, whatever it is.
Two Happy Amigos.
There you go, 2 Happy Amigos. But the I was going to say, outside of the Happy Amigos, but wait to see what the last one is from. It is hysterical.
That's great. That's when Goofy's playing golf?
Hey, look at the title of the episode.
Holiday for Henpecked Husbands. That is great.
Can you imagine a Disney cartoon holiday for henpecked husbands?
Dude, like in the 1950s, 1960s, there was some serious sexist stuff going on with Disney.
Oh, God.
But that's just the way it was back then.
On everything.
I mean, yeah, especially with Goofy. I mean, he was punished by everybody.
So, when I took these in, I had no idea. I was like, oh, man, how much are the different scenes, whatever. So we just put 400 to 600 on them each. And, I got to say, on Live Auctioneers right now, they're doing okay. They're showing like, 275, 325 or whatever. But we'll see what happens,
So they're pretty cool. Got a lot of different, it's like you said, it's good to have like not a specific collector, like you guys selling like somebody's estate, basically. Kind of gives you an opportunity to clear the shelves a little bit. Perfectly thirded lots, like you said, Trav. I'm curious. I mean, I know that we just talked about some of the older toys that we got in there. The other big components being comic books, trading cards. From each of those thirds of your auction coming up, which is the one thing you're truly excited about that we haven't already talked about?
Good thing James just exited out of the screen because I was about to get a little messy because I was going to be so excited.
I just went right past the boxed robots section.
Oh, God.
Tired of robots at the moment.
Yeah, he's tired of robots, but man, there is like...
You're doing an appraisal on robots?
Oh, dude, I just did that big one for our auction a few months back, and that was thousand robots. Uh-oh. And just going through and trying to find all the little variants and what have you. My brain is just jellified on it.
All I'll say is there's one... Kevin's heard me say it 50 times in the gallery, so he can almost repeat it verbatim. But there is a 1980 Clover. Jesus, listen to my tongue tie. 1980 Clover Trider G7 bird attack form that is just so beautiful. It is almost orgasmic to just witness a diecast.
I don't think I could have repeated that.
I'm sorry, I just fell asleep. Could you start that again?
A 1980...
Yeah, I wrote it down. Clover Trider G7 bird attack form.
Yeah, dude, it's considered honestly one of the most...
Oh, I do remember this one.
Hey, it's considered one of the most aesthetically pleasing, greatest designs, whatever you want to call it, of Clover of like the Super Robot period. I mean, you just have that translucent plastic big fire phoenix that goes on the back. Look at the factory tape. I mean, when you just see nice, crispy yellow tape like that, it's just, it's so right.
So I got a question for you. Is there like a website that tells you how they originally taped, or is there somewhere you can go to research that? Because I know that's been a big issue in the Star Wars world is... Out of which factory? Was it cardboard or was it styrofoam? Was it tape? Was it stapled? Is there somewhere you can go to find that kind of information?
Unfortunately, there's nothing as like that solidly concrete documented. I mean, Japanese robots like these are so niche, but there are archives like this Toy Box DX, Collection DX, where they do have archives and they show the figures, but they might not necessarily have examples in unused, beautiful condition. But I don't know, you just got to feel it. Like you look at the tape and you go like, that's good tape. Like one thing that is so hard to fake is that Japanese packaged tape of that period in the 70s and the early 80s is a narrower width than the standard Scotch tape and rolled tape that you get here in the States. So, and you can tell it has a different like transparency to it, different feel. Like you just know, you look at it and you say,
it's got a weird kind of clarity. It's like a clear.
Yeah. Hey, James, you're a Lego nut.
To it.
Dude,
James, you're a Lego nut.
I saw this 1955 Legos.
This
is the original Town expansion set. This is crazy early.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, I couldn't even find a market comp for it.
There it is.
I couldn't even. All I know is if you have like
perfect.
If you have the 1955 Esso gas station, it's easily like 1,000 to 1,500, if not more, depending on condition.
But that's also one of their first branded items as well, which adds to it.
Did you know there was a company before Lego named Lega?
That rings a bell.
And Lego copied them and took over bigger than they did.
I know that there were a couple of other block companies at the same time.
Yeah.
But
I think the name was Lega. It was spelt with the same letters or almost the same letter formation.
ain't that the way it works?
Yeah, but
my God.
I don't know. I'm curious to see that Lego set is bid on the two other websites. I don't know. Yeah, the Star Wars lot.
That's a great lot.
Yeah, it's already it's screaming.
1,200?
No, I mean you have to figure they average when they're loose beat up like that.
$20.
I say 8 to 12. I mean Boba Fett's worth 50. You know, there's very little accessory, but it's already showing $475 on Live Auctioneer. You know, I just try to put cheap estimates.
Oh, agreed. Because you never know.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a vinyl Kate Jawa.
Yeah.
Well, so annoyingly, this guy in the lower left-hand corner, RX7, sells for a stupid amount for reasons I can't fathom. I had as a kid, I thought it was the lamest toy because literally all he did was those little white strips popped out like little insect arms. So stupid. And now it's like a $40, $60 toy.
Yeah.
Was it?
I mean, it's definitely
this guy
be
right
a good
here.
group.
Yeah.
But again,
you've got Anakin from later. You misdescribed.
No, I didn't. Go read
it's in there.
Go read all the figure count. Go read it.
1978. Oh, includes Scattered Power of the Force 2. I stopped at 1985.
The piece count is only for the vintage. The piece count is only for the vintage figures.
Who's this guy right here?
That is actually an Indiana Jones figure.
Really?
Yeah, it's Mark Kenner on the back.
So anyway, as we go through this auction, I mean, it looks like a really great selection of stuff.
Yeah, and that's just the toys. I mean, the trading
do you have any
cards.
comic book or trading card highlights as we're coming up on the end of this one?
To be honest, the comic book section is not that exhilarating. Your highest estimated comic book is 700 to 1,000. I mean, there's really nothing that extravagant.
There are a lot of graded items, and frankly, what are grading costs right now? For someone who's not you guys.
If you're not us and you just submit your modern age book to CGC, you're going to be paying $25 for that. Your economy tier, if you're a regular Joe Schmo, you're going to be paying all of, $34, $35.
So it's a really great idea for some of these value priced comics is you can get into them for a lower price point because they're already graded. You don't have to pay for that. That's a huge thing right there.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was doing estimates for this auction. I wanted to cry. It's just all the books that were normally $300 to $500, $400 to $600, $500 to $800. It's $100 to $200, $100 to $200, $100 to $200, $100 to $200. It's just all it is,
so
$100 to $200.
You've got Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. That's in a 6.5. That's $1,500, give or take.
Yeah. It's estimated.
Was it a year and a half ago?
A year and a half ago.
$3,000?
No, yeah, about I'd say 2,400 to 2,600. Yeah. Spider-Man 129 is one of those books that never really had the huge pop like other Bronze Age keys like Hulk 181.
Because it was already a huge collectible. I think it already hit the high points.
Well, no. Well, listen to this. For example, you have a Hulk 181 in 7.0. That book in the height of COVID in 7.0 was selling for $7,500, $8,000, where it used to only be $3,000, where a 129 never had that 2-3x jump. It always just stayed kind of meh. It's been actually, of all comics, I'd say it's one of the ones that has the least heartbeat of a market trend line. It's very ebb and flow because it's never had that huge pickup. And you would think with John Berthenol, I mean, he was like the best Punisher. Oh, it was so good.
Well, yeah, but it was just a short series at the very tail end, and then, right as Netflix lost the Marvel license. I mean, but you've got some really great books, all in 5.5s, 4 to 5s, and some great little collections here.
It's okay. We'll be coming up Monday, this coming Monday. We're picking up a big single-owner collection of comics. That'll be its own auction again. And then I'll be back to my normal feeling of, Tales of Spence 39, Journey into Mystery 83, Amazing Fantasy 15, all those books that we love to see and sell. Not this regular paper.
But not Fiction House Jumbo Comics?
No, I only want to sell Jumbo Comics if they're 9.0s or better. I mean, God, 6. Ugh. I'll take it. I'm not complaining, but it used to be $500-$600. Now it's like $150. That's not as fun.
It happens.
You can't eat steak every night. You got to eat some. I don't know.
Hey, just think of this. That Charizard, okay, that's in the auction, at the height of the market in COVID, was a $20,000 card. And it is estimated at 10% of its value from 18 months ago.
Crazy, huh?
That Shadowless 9 Charizard all day long used to be $20,000 at the peak of it. You know, we had, like, at the auction, it's estimated 2 to 3 at the peak when listen to that. When we were selling Pokemon cards, we had our first Shadowless 9 Charizard sell for $1,200. It went unpaid. I was like, oh, what the hell? It went unpaid. The next auction 6 months later, it went in. It brought $7,000. I was like, oh man, let's get this thing unpaid again. Let's go.
Keep flipping.
No, but I'm excited.
One last thing I want to make a note of. In this, you've also got some great 1940s era trading cards. Lone Ranger, True Spy stories.
James, you want to hear a crazy story about these cards?
Let's hear it.
So, if you remember back in October, we did the Henry Anderson collection of Golden Age comics.
Yeah.
I get a call it's like 3:57 on a Tuesday. The nephew calls me, hey, Travis, we were doing the final sweep in the basement, throwing everything out. We found one more box of comics. And I'm like, oh, man, this is awesome. Bring in the comics. Comics are ridiculous. But anyway, we're just about to wrap up. I did the inventory, consignment contract's done. He's like, oh, by the way, do you mind if I use your dumpster? I have this stuff to throw out. And I was like, oh, dude, well, let me look what you're He was going to throw out all those cards.
Can you imagine what they threw out at the house? How come we never got to go to the house?
Because remember, this was the story of that. They hired the other auctioneer who was going to sell all the cards.
Yes.
So they were going to throw out these cards. And I was like, Burnt, I need to order. And they see how they're all beautifully organized?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of these cards were in one coffee tin, all jumbled up. I had to organize it all. I put them all in numerical order. It drove me literally. It was a project. It was basically like 4 hours of just not. I went into work one day like 6 o'clock because I came in right at the end, the week of when we had to upload the catalog, and I was like, with all these trading cards, they have to go in the sale. I mean, just look at the accumulation to see that many Horror of War cards in one setting.
These Rosen cards are fantastic.
Hey, no, it's one of the rarest sets that's almost complete. Is in there. It's the it's either 1938 or 1939 Gum Makers of America true spy stories.
I was looking at that one.
Espionage spy cards. Mm-hmm. If you look those up on eBay or they are inexistent. They do not exist. If you look at the PSA set registry, the highest graded examples are like 2s and 4s. I mean, if you go on eBay and you look at completed listings, someone will have 2 cards and it'll sell for like $170. Mm-hmm. You're only missing 1 card. It's a near complete set, missing 1 card.
This is great.
That's a really good set of cards. I don't know, but again, cheap estimates, $200 to $300.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's got Lawrence of Arabia.
That's a great set of cards. Don't you agree the 3x3 sleeves make for great representation?
I like how they're not so tight.
Right?
They could have easily made it 4x4, and having that little space between them. In the gallerist world, it makes the art breathe.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I feel our raw card lots at auction do exceptionally well because they're photographed in this way.
Yeah,
I definitely
and there's
agree.
No glare on them, which is nice.
So I don't know. The lot might only bring $300. Maybe nobody cares anymore. But if you want early 1930s war era, very esoteric cards, that is a great set of cards to buy.
Is there multiple sets in the lot, or is it all different lots you have of all the different sets?
It's all different set. Yeah, I put each set as a lot. There's only 2 mixed lots because there weren't enough cards out of each set. It was really good. I mean, the card. If I had to pick the strongest section, I'd feel the cards are the strongest of the auction.
I think the cards are the most interesting one for me. I mean, the rest is cool. You got a few neat toys in there, but I've never seen this many good cards all at once in an auction.
And of all errors, I mean, look at that that wacky package collection.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that I was lazy. I mean, maybe a slightly bit lazy, but I probably could have broke that into 3 or 4 different lots. But that's just a single owner collection as it stands. It's everything from 1967 through 1977. I mean, there's duplicates. It's ridiculous. There's so many cards in there.
The Topps wacky packages were like Wheaties, but they had parody names on them. I can't remember what they were, but they were fake packages for brands everybody knew. Like Kodak was Kodak.
Yeah. So you'll see the 2 key cards in that lot we got graded. One is Quacker Oats. It's supposed to be like Quaker Oats. And then the other is the Mean Jolly Giant. It's like, supposed
Jolly
to be like,
Mean Giant? Jolly Green Giant?
Yeah, that's it. Jolly
there
Mean
Giant.
There you
go. Loves to split peas.
Yeah. I don't know. I think my prediction is if 2 wacky package collectors really see that collection, the lot should hammer for at least 3,000.
It's a pretty great collection. You can split it out forever and ever too.
Oh yeah,
I like Cracola crayons.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think what I put on it, 8 to 1,200, 1 to 2,000,
1 to 2K.
Yeah, I mean that's a no-brainer price.
I mean, like producer Kyle, look at these cards. You recognize these packages, right?
Or do I?
Like deviled ham, Planters peanuts, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Rudens. Oh, Rudens. We're going to land the plane on this one. That's my new finger wave we're going to land the plane on this one. A lot of interesting stuff. So in-person auction on the Friday night, and that's going to be in Cranston, Rhode Island if you're local to our area. Mostly trading card stuff. And then March 11th, 10 a.m. start, midlive.bruneauandco.com.
That's right. And if you go, you'll be able to meet producer Kyle in the flesh.
Nice.
I mean, you'll get to meet you guys too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but
that ain't cool.
No, we're always there. We basically live there.
If you're listening to this after the auction, that's okay. You can still go to Bruneau and Company Auctioneers, Bruneau.com, and look at these cards. There's just some amazing ones that you won't see in one place again. Just a good place to start the research from.
We'll end it. Can I end it on one funny story, PK, or no?
So long, it better be the funniest fucking story in the world. What is it?
It's not going to be funny at all, but there's going to be another learning curve because there was one small box of Magic cards that I couldn't find another example of at all. And we had this guy on Live Auctioneers message who his Live Auctioneers handle, for lack of a better, was basically like MTG Lord Master. Essentially, something like I'm the master of Magic the Gathering was his handle. And he's like, whoa, writing like the Riddler, like, oh, very impressive box you have there. Historic piece of Magic the Gathering lore. Do you care to learn, ? Or shall I just teach you after the sale? What do I do to ponder? And it's like,
you've got to be kidding me.
Yes, it was awesome. It was awesome.
King of the nerds.
Yeah.
Riddling Travis.
Talk to him or no?
No, well, I messaged back and forth, and because what it is it's a mini booster box where like your traditional booster box has 36 packs. This has only 12 packs from the Mirrodin set, which is like early 2000s, 2003, 2004. The box is completely unbranded to what the set is. It's like a generic Magic the Gathering box, other than a little sticker on the bottom that identifies it. It says like Mirrodin Booster 12 count. And so it's interesting. I mean, I don't know what it's going to bring. A Mirrodin booster box is worth about like 4,000 to 5,000 today for the full 36 packs.
Wow.
This is 12 packs, so I don't know if it's going to only if it's a third of a Mirrodin box or is it a premium because it's a rare box. But just the fact that he wrote me like the Riddler was very funny.
Were the rest of his messages in that same kind of I don't communicate with humans much tone?
No, he hasn't responded yet.
Oh, dear.
I wish you all the luck in the world with that, Travis. I also wish everyone luck who chooses to come check out the auction and participate. Again, March 11th. Check it out. There's a link in the show notes. Make sure you rate and subscribe to the Justuff League wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube. Check out the YouTube, please.
I know.
There's a link as well.
Insane.
You can see the stuff that we're talking about on the screen. You can see our faces. It's a whole new experience. It's wild. Fucking love it.
And hit subscribe on that one.
Yeah,
on
the
like
YouTube.
that.
Because if you don't, I'll hit subscribe. Rating your schnoz, okay? Just like me.